Okay, let me see. Tell me when it shows up on YouTube.
Is it on? Is it on?
Hi. Are we
checking?
Are we live?
Is it on?
Are we on?
Is it on?
Go to freaking.
Is it on?
It says starting.
Oh, I guess I could check. Is it on?
Is it on? Hi.
Is it on?
I think it says starting.
Is it on? Hello?
Yeah. Yep, I see it.
Oh,
We're
God.
live. Hi.
Oh, boy.
We're here.
Welcome to the
Let's
film school office.
Let's get some chat.
I
Hey.
don't see people.
Happy Thursday.
Cool.
See people yet.
Nobody's in here.
Hello.
Secret.
Happy
Secret
Thursday.
live
Happy
stream.
Thursday. Happy.
Sing a song.
Oh, I just got a oh, we're live. I just got a little
Ooh,
notification.
bump
Great.
on my head. Look at this loop on my head.
Let's wait for all kinds of people to pile into the
Okay, here we
stream.
go.
Is there somebody in there?
Hello, everyone.
People are showing up. Everyone's saying
It's
hello.
on.
Hello.
All right. I just got all kinds of
Hello.
notifications.
Who's chatting on our end?
We got Jackson. We got Joe Henry. We
Like
got,
who's us?
It's
Who-
me.
Okay.
And me.
Oh, there's everybody. Hi, everybody.
I'm on the text chat. I think Joey might be too.
Yeah, we're all
Great.
gonna be
Now y'all saw
throwing
me
in our hats.
check out my hair loop. How's
Yeah.
everybody doing? Okay, let's intro ourselves properly.
So guys, this
Hey.
is the Rocket Jump Film School. We're doing a laid-back industry Q&A today. Because we Cherish put out a video this morning about email etiquette.
She did.
I'm
Yeah.
human Steve
Um,
Brule, evidently.
There's some crazy, weird rules and etiquette and protocol that go into email and in the industry in general. So we are here to answer your questions and also make faces.
Hey, Joey, can you
Yeah.
get my glasses? Alright.
Yes.
Hi, guys. Okay, we're gonna do a real thing now.
Okay.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
These are gonna reflect a lot.
That's fine. 'Cause
If you guys are new here, we put out a filmmaking video every Thursday, and we do a live stream every Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time that you are
What?
watching right now. And yeah,
Hi. Okay. So yes, we're doing a chill one today. Obviously, I did a first pass at a lesson about emails, and Joey did stuff. It keeps pausing. Let's see. Christian already got a question here. So when you say questions about the biz, are you going to talk about how to finance a film project? It depends. I mean, we could. I would consider this like a panel thing. I don't want to talk about specifically how we finance in too much detail because we can't. But
we can
we
brainstorm.
can give advice.
Yeah.
We can give pointers.
Thanks,
based on
Zach.
Experience. Hi, Zach.
These are
Zach 11. Woo.
these are for the monitor. These are the gunners. Gamers use these. But, I use them
Good.
to edit.
What's our face? Rundy? 1, 2, 3. Okay.
It's just going to be an hour of us breathing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Film Lab Production says, "Hey guys, I have
What's
a
up,
question."
Serbia? Serbia in the house.
Serbia in the house.
All right.
Film Lab Production asks, "Hey guys, I have a question. I'm making a film and I want to know how do I find cast." Good question.
Cast?
You cast them. No, I'm just kidding.
Like actors?
Yeah, if you're looking for actors. So, lots of places you can do. There's a few websites, obviously. You guys want to throw some out?
There's LA casting, which is, do they have like a New York casting or other city castings?
Film Lab, where are you?
Check out if there's sort of a casting site for your city, if it's a bigger city. If not, there are, honestly, Craigslist for anywhere.
But
in
be
the
really
world.
safe about it.
Be safe about it, and then set up like a safe space to therefore like hold your audition.
Yeah.
Don't ever hold your audition like at your own house or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty unprofessional.
That's unprofessional. It's unsafe for you, and it's very uncomfortable for the actor.
Yeah.
So don't do it at your house. There's like in LA, there's places where you can rent a room and do your casting there. But
That's smart. Good protocol.
Yeah. Again, if you're, I wonder how dense your area is with actors.
Central casting? Is that like nationwide?
I think it's in major cities.
Major
so
cities.
probably like Atlanta, Chicago, New York, LA.
That makes sense.
We have so many questions. Oh my god. Also, I would say be open to casting non-actors. Like, again, people you know who have a certain quality that you think could work. Being open to non-actors, bringing something unique to your film is pretty cool.
A really good resource that most people don't think of is if you are still in school, your teachers will volunteer to be in your projects. A lot of them, not all of them. Some of them are really shy, but every video class I've taught for like junior high and high school, like teachers want to help you do that stuff. They will help you book rooms in the school. They will help you by playing an adult. So family members and teachers are like a really good resource, and it's good to kind of use them to get over the fear, like get over being shy with actors, like knowing people, trusting and directing people you know. That's always
so many questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
I'm gonna answer Dan Klein's email question real quick because it's about the email video.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, Dan. In the email video, you talked about BCC, but if you're sending an email to a bunch of people, who do you actually send it to, and who gets BCC'd? Okay, so again, BCC is used for usually groups of people that don't want to show up. There's definitely ways that you can, I guess how to clarify it is, if you're sending an email to a bunch of people, who do you actually send it to and who gets BCC'd? I mean, it depends on the person and what you want them to do. If you're on a project with them and you're just CCing them so that they get the next piece of information, like say I'm setting up a conference call with somebody in Chicago and Daniel Otero, who works here, needs to be on that call. So I'll CC him and let the other person know that who Dan is and say, okay, these people are going to be on the phone call. Everyone gets the information about when, where, what phone number to call. That's when you would use CC. BCC would be for if for some reason I didn't want Dan to show up in the email to this person from Chicago. Like, I don't want them to know that Dan is seeing this email. That's kind of like the more secret, spy-y way of thinking about BCC. But
well, also it allows you to send them the one email, and then follow-up emails aren't sent to them because the reply all doesn't use BCC. It only replies all to the to and to the CC. So if you send a massive call sheet to like 500 people and BCC everybody and send it to like one person, if they reply, they only reply to you.
So that you're not bumping up everyone's inbox.
Yeah.
With more emails. Yeah.
Helpful.
I recorded something about using BCC in that way. We shot it, but it got a little bit dense with the explanation. But yeah, BCC, as I said in the video, for big groups of people, strangers who don't necessarily want to show up, and other people, they don't want their information showing up in other people's inboxes, and they don't want a long thread of people asking questions that are not relevant to them. So it's like, BCC, good for big groups of people where you need to get information out, but you don't need a response, per se.
Hyperion K.
Thanks for watching. Hyperion K.
I see your question.
Hey, what does he
I
ask?
think you're next.
The commercials and music video?
Yeah, commercials and music video. How do I get started? Well, that's a good question. Honestly, some of the first things I got paid for were local commercials and I didn't get paid for doing music videos, but local commercials, sometimes businesses will hire you, just sort of, but you honestly do the door-to-door type of thing where you go around to your local business and be like, hey, I got an idea for a commercial for your business, and then see if they're interested, and maybe they'll throw you a couple bucks, a couple $100, maybe more, depends on how much they have, and then you just take it down to your local TV place or whatever, and yeah, you can make some commercials. It's really just or you just do them for fun. Say you have want to do a parody of whatever, music videos. Find a band, or just we took well-known bands and we just made a fan music video for them, and then they'd share it on their site and stuff like that. There should really be nothing.
There's a story with John Salmon about
that.
that.
Yeah, John Salmon has that.
He did for a project for school. They had to do a music video, and he did a music video for Kids by MGMT, and the band actually saw it. It got way popular. People thought it was the official video, and so they invited him and Raph and Abby to be in the next video.
For sure, that's
yeah,
cool.
Which is really cool.
See, and there's nothing stopping you from doing fan music videos for existing things. Send it to artists that you like, and stuff like that could happen. Really cool. It happened with some stuff that I did, with stuff that John did. Like, the more you hear about it, the more, when you're starting out, you're looking for things to do. So just go out and do them, and then it's the internet, and then people like that stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Dan asked a really good question. I answered in the chat. Harry Goodwin asks, emails over WhatsApp or messenger groups or film cast and crew. That's really informal. Again, if you really know your cast and your crew and it's fairly small, obviously whatever works best for your project it's up to you guys. But the standard is emails are still used to get call sheets, maps, basic information, so people all are referencing the same thing. If you're using WhatsApp or messenger groups, it starts getting a little bit more inconsistent about tracking those documents.
Digital paper trail.
Mm-hmm.
You usually need emailed so you can confirm like who got what. Everything is in the same place. You don't want to ask your crew to download a new app if they don't use it. So email is standard and the most professional way to go.
Hey, Kevinator.
Yeah, did you see some of the comments the two guys were getting into on the video chat?
over Slack.
Slack versus...
Yeah. The one person on the video commented that's why Slack must have been invented, because people get tired of communicating with each other and being judged for it. I mean, sure, to each your own, but again, email is not Slack. You're not going to Slack someone for a job the first time you ever meet them, and even if you were and that's how we change our communication, you're going to want to make sure that Slack is real nice.
Yeah.
You're going to want to sound professional and make a good first impression.
Yeah, the case for email was for the same reason. You could search topics really quickly. You can loop everyone in. Like, you can't really loop everyone in on different topics in Slack necessarily. You can, but it's actually more. It's more work and it's more of a mess. It's
Slack is a very, very different way of communicating than email.
It's just a chat room. It's not. It's not the most professional way to do things. And email has gotten to this point. Email has worked out enough bugs to be able to.
So many questions.
Make it easier.
Really good questions.
I like
Jack Roll. I was gonna.
Apple or Windows? We use both.
Jack Roll asks, what has been the best part about being in the industry, but specifically the Rocket Jump team? Everyone want to go around real quick? Let's.
Say it again.
I think we gotta move. But what has been the best part about being in the industry, but specifically the Rocket Jump team?
Best part.
Best part is you get to do weird ass stuff that just like it's just with your friends. Like, I don't know how it's you find yourself in crazy places and crazy situations, making friends with people you never thought you'd be friends with.
What do you mean?
Gross. I never.
Yeah, I looked at Joey and I was like, we're never ever gonna.
We
be
would
friends.
never be friends. Now we sit 2 feet away from each other.
Every day.
No, it's the people you meet, because the film industry attracts all kinds of people. It's not just like film buffs. It's, carpenters and painters and
carpenters and painters.
That's
Carpenter and painters.
Photographers, musicians, like just all kinds of people that just bring so much different ways of thinking and different walks of life and blah blah blah. So like, you'll meet some jerks in the industry, but really, like, if you're gonna make a movie for a whole month with the same people day after day, like, you're working with some cool creative people.
Best part.
That's
What
best part.
about you?
I mean, to that end, you could be acting with Freddie one day doing a backflip, or he's coming in here to work a magic trick for you that he's working on, or it's just anything can happen any day. So that's sort of the best part, is that thing. It's not just
About Rocket Jump too?
It's still a production company, and we're always in production on random things. So that keeps people on their toes and creatively stretches their imagination beyond their wildest dreams.
I would say what's the best part of being in the industry is there's so many ups and downs, really, and there's like when you start working on the stuff we do, like instant gratification kind of goes away. So you really have to sustain yourself for these periods where you make something you're really proud of. Like the act of creation is really incredible. So if you are a really creative person and fueled by making something and getting out in the world and hearing what people think and seeing how it affects their lives and how they relate to the story, that's what the best part is. I mean, that's why anyone is an artist or a storyteller, right? And Rocket Jump's just fun because that's everyone's goal, is to try and make good stuff.
Fun stuff.
Figuring it out is a little bit harder sometimes, but
Epic Lyric asks,
yeah, we should answer his
where
question.
should I get started in the film industry, and if I want to get started in sound specifically? Well, there's different aspects of sound. There's being on set and recording sound, or there's all kinds of stuff that you can do in post with sound. And so, anyone have any
Honestly,
tips?
I think Kevin is better at
Yeah.
answering this question. But Kevin went to film school.
Yeah.
Kevin went to film school, and you could go to. You don't have to go to like a 4-year college or get a 4-year degree, but it could give you the basis to learn all the tools of the trade and common practices, and it could also loop you in with people who can mentor you or give you more opportunities. Get looped in with film crews and stuff like that.
I will say that Kevin and I were just talking about how he got started here at Rocket Jump, and
Sorry,
I'll keep going.
I know.
He put himself out there.
Stitch and
They had a sound boom operator on season 1 of Video Game High School, but he basically went up to Freddie and went up to some of the guys and was like, "Hey, I'm here and I'm gonna help." So then they became a sound team, a duo, and was it Paul for season 1? Can't remember, but he started working with whoever they had hired, and just sort of didn't leave and didn't go home, and neither did all of we. We all just sort of showed up one day and never went home, and that's so put yourself out there, make yourself available, but also be good. So go to school.
Don't be a jerk. That's the big. I mean, really.
You don't want to suck at it.
Yeah, if you're the person who's like, oh, I don't want to do that when you get on set, people are gonna be like, why would I ask this person back? But it's just like, heck yeah, I'll do that really annoying job for you to help
Also, if you are a jerk, you can be a jerk if you're really good, like objectively good.
Yeah.
But that's
the trade-off. It has to be worth it.
Yeah,
it's like,
and with certain people don't care. Like some people are like, yeah, I'll work with jerks. Other people are like,
I hope that helps.
Matt.
I had a question I wanted to answer really quick because it's an easy one. Zach Grimaldo asked, who takes notes on takes and audio files on set as you're shooting? I need help in this department for our editor. That is a script supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
They keep track of the shots, how many takes, what lines are said during those takes, like positions, what people are holding, and like sound and camera can give the script supervisor notes like, oh, that was a bad take because of this, or blah blah blah. The camera department has their own note taker, which is usually one of the camera PAs, like the second the camera PA or the second AC, where they'll just write down like lens information, we were exposed here, and blah blah blah. And then sound department, when we were on VJHS, Paul had this huge like notepad with him with his mixer, and after each take he would write his own notes. And then all of those are given to production afterward.
Mm-hmm.
So the main thing you need, I think, is a script supervisor, and then your camera department your departments can take detailed notes, if that helps.
So there's only the 3 of us when we shoot usually. And so because Joey is the editor / director / kind of shooting it, running sound, we're all doing 1,000 things, Joey almost always keeps notes.
Yeah, I started doing that, especially for our longer interviews, and it certainly helps me when you get into post. So take little notes on set and make it easier.
Those notes from the script soup go to the assistant editors or the editors. Mm-hmm. When I worked in TV, one of my jobs as a PA was putting all of those notes into a binder with the script so the editor could look at it and reference it. So that's like pretty common standard practice to do.
God, there's so many good questions. Guys, there's so many good questions. I have an idea. Why don't we each because there's a question I want to answer.
Okay.
So we each
I'm
take
just,
turns.
I'm just trying to sort of go down the list.
Try. There's just so many. Like each one of these, I think there's an answer to. But why don't we just go in order?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I got Alex, the Alphabet Alex, with the internship question. Alphabet Alex, you asked how to get an internship. I believe that's the next one down.
I got dibs on the next one though.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say we could sort of take turns on who's got the tip for that, because I can throw one out, but
we can all answer it.
Well, sort of open forum to I have a tip on how to get an internship, and the next one's like, this one's specifically for editing. And I was like, well, you just sort of apply. That's a dumb answer, but you really just have to send your resume, send a good cover letter, be a professional, send a good email to these places. Without that, that's really all you can do. And people, that's how Adrian got his assistant editing gig at Pixar for several years. He worked there many years, and it just started as an internship through the editorial program. So all these places, no matter where you are, apply. It's the same process for any other job, really. And then you can move up through there. So who's next? I hope that helps.
There was a question I wanted to answer from forever ago. Kevin did a great job. Master Blaster asked, how do I get into editing, specifically trailers? Great question. So for those of you who don't know, I used to produce trailers. I worked for a couple of years at a trailer house. And basically everyone who started there, I feel like there's a really clean work pipeline for how to climb the ladder at trailer houses, which is you start as a PA, which is usually through someone you know. But I mean, we had people who just straight up applied, who like did their research on the trailer houses in LA, and you could do that with whatever city you chose to go to. I mean, there's really only ones in LA and New York, I'd say, primarily. Do your research and then email them, and I'm telling you, most times, like, we were happy to hear from people who are really passionate about wanting to get started in trailer editing. There's not a lot of people who do that, so if that's specifically something you're interested in, look and research trailer houses and apply as a PA, make contact. We promoted a lot of PAs into assistant editors who became editors and started cutting TV spots and trailers and stuff like that. So, and as Kevin said, just rip a movie and start practicing. If you're really good, people are gonna notice right away, and you're only gonna get really good if you practice.
Practice it. There's been a lot of questions about, should I move to LA?
Mm-hmm.
Is LA oversaturated? How are other cities compared to LA? It's kind of an interesting time right now because a lot of different production is popping up in different cities. I know Chicago's growing. Atlanta is really big right now because The Walking Dead brought a lot of production there. A lot of movies are going to Atlanta. Portland is getting a little bit bigger. Vancouver is definitely where a lot of TV is. Mm-hmm. TV, that's a great place for TV. You do need to get a work visa through whatever production company you're on. That's a little bit harder because the whole point of shooting in Vancouver is the tax break, and you get the tax break when you hire locally. Mm-hmm. So if you're gonna move to Vancouver, you want to move there, and there's a whole mess of work. So if the company requests you, that's a whole different thing. Mm. But Vancouver, it's more about the locals. So that is a thing to consider. Really, it's kind of about what is a best fit for you. Los Angeles is not for everybody. Some people really hate it, and some people absolutely love it. If you want to be like thrown into the deep end, LA is a great place. There's always something going on.
Do we like it?
I love it.
I like it.
I like it.
I never thought I would like it. When I first came out here, I was like, ew, gross.
Mm-hmm. I'm from here, so it's kind of hard to...
But the thing is, in your city, a good place to start is look up college programs and see if they have film programs, because the film students will always be looking for help. And grad programs and that kind of stuff, you can get on a PA set experience there. And meet certain people who are moving into that industry, and then you can meet people who are in the small groups of industry in that city. I'm from Denver, Denver has some opportunities with like PBS and a lot of the television stations there. So it's different opportunities, but you meet the right people. And I got involved in Colorado Film School there, and that's how I got in touch with the film community when I was there. I was teaching, I actually wasn't going to the school.
So many great people in here. Dude, we have some, Marcus says greetings from Norway. Hi, Marcus.
Norway.
What's up,
It's
Norway?
so cool.
But yeah, moral of the story is that you can find film work or TV work almost in any city or any large city next to you. It's just the type of work that you're looking for might exist elsewhere.
Oh yeah. I got a caveat to that.
Yeah.
It's because I wasn't sure if I was going to move to LA, but every major city has sports.
Yeah.
And you can get into sports broadcasting, or there's always a TV studio in every major city for whatever that. It's a different aspect of filmmaking, but it's technically still, it exists.
Dude, if I had to choose like a sport to film, I would totally do wrestling or WWE.
That'd be fun.
Those cameramen look like they have so much fun.
Yeah.
Just like zoom in every time someone hits the ground, and
For sure.
great. It's up my alley.
You could apply to any of those arenas for camera work or whatever.
Local TV stations.
Local TV stuff, for sure.
CBS.
Every city.
NBC. All those.
Somebody
else.
Fluffy Pavilion. Is YouTube a good market to get into? That's a whole. It's hard to answer because YouTube changes so much every year or every month. Sometimes they will make a change to their site, or the way they notify people. Specifically, is something that we're experiencing at the moment, and
PewDiePie talked about it. A lot of creators were affected.
It's always evolving. So YouTube, it's a great platform to get your work out, but it also isn't something that I would rely 100% on or base
I would
success on necessarily.
I mean, YouTube is really, really good for. I mean, a lot of people say YouTube, when they take it really seriously, it's the hardest job they've ever had.
Yeah.
So YouTube is a great way for you to establish a really strong work ethic for yourself when it comes to creating stuff and building an audience. I mean, that's how we started, but
yeah.
But it's a lot of hard work, and if you're game for it, then go for it, because people are gonna see your stuff. It's a great way to share. It's better than I mean, you could also try, film festivals is still very, very effective for a certain group of people, but YouTube is broad, you're gonna get it out to the people, so,
yeah.
But there are cons to it as well, so, you good?
Yep.
Barb, so many questions, you guys are killing it. Eddie Faye asked us a couple of times already, so let's answer it. How many of you guys at Rocket Jam come from film school? Just wondering if I should stay in film school. Well, okay, so I will say a lot of us do come from film school. I would say probably the biggest connector for all of us here and how we got to Rocket Jam is because of how we knew each other ahead of time. It's just relationships. Again, Rocket Jump started from connections made in film school. Like Freddie and Matt and Des all knew each other from USC. So, but still, that's kind of like timing and a few other things. So
I always joke that we get this question a lot.
Yeah.
And the education is, you do learn stuff, but you don't learn everything. And the main takeaway that Cherish is saying is we met each other. I always joke that I didn't need to go to film school. I needed Brian to go to film school, which is a friend of mine who met everyone here. So that's
Brian Frenzy, The Law.
The Law. We went to high school together. We started making films then. He met all of you, and then moving to LA, I folded into the circle, and so it really just comes down to people you meet, and you will sort of break off into who you work well with, and yeah, so that is a benefit of film school that you can't get online necessarily. We try to cultivate a community here where you can meet people and on our forums share your work and maybe connect with someone in your area. I don't know, but film school's that.
Spoony, you had a good question. The things we always say about film school are we can't Rocket Jump Film School is an online school, right? We're going to teach you things that we didn't even learn in film school. but we're still not going to be able to give you the opportunity to meet other filmmakers that you can start building relationships with. We can't give you equipment, and we can't give you the space to fail, which is what film school will do. Like, it gives you the chance to experiment and try things, and find your voice, in a capacity that is not like, oh, I have to make rent, or maybe you do, I don't know, which life, but film school, whether or not you stay or go, is a completely personal choice. It's just weighing pros and cons, but whether or not you go to film school is not a guarantee or indicator of success per se.
Yeah. Yep.
You got. Is it my turn? Is it my turn? I think.
Yes.
No.
I think
I asked that. So Lauren.
I think I threw the. Oh, you did ask that.
Yeah, I asked it, and then you took it, Joey.
That's right.
I'm trying to pick questions that encompass a lot of these different questions.
Mm-hmm.
One of the questions that keeps kind of popping up is, how do I stand out in production? How do I start? Kind of as we talked about earlier, a big thing about standing out, especially is you're just starting out, is your attitude. If you have a freaking great attitude and you are fun to work with and you are looking for ways to be helpful and you have a good attitude about setbacks, about doing work that you might not like a lot of PAs will have to stand around and pick up trash and do that kind of stuff. If you are passionate and into it and really want to make do the best job you can to make it easier for everybody else and to make a good movie, people will be really excited to hire you back. I know when I meet a PA that's just really psyched to be there, I want to hire them back because I'm like, oh, they want to come back, they really want to be here. So it's that element of, you're here for the team, you really do care about your job, even if it might seem trivial, you really think this will actually really help the production. That is what stands out to me. You could be super talented, and it's yeah, you could do it, but it's I want to hire the person who really wants to be there, and has the talent to back it up. So that's the core thing. When getting started, again, it's find any opportunity you can to practice, whether it's volunteering with grad or student films, checking out low budget stuff, checking out local TV stations, looking for internships, go to internship boards, message boards, your school might have one, volunteering your time.
To piggyback what you're saying, I think also a lot of TV is great. People don't think about TV, and that's everywhere, right? TV stations. Also theater groups. I mean, people don't think that theater translates, but there's a lot of people who started in theater stage productions and building sets for plays. Lighting, totally. And then, or coordinating, and then they end up in the film industry somehow, like our friend Dan Hooker. Hey, sorry to interrupt your point, but that was a really good one that you made.
It's I know a lot of people want to wait for the perfect opportunity, or wait until I get the best camera or the best equipment. It's no, if you have an idea, try it out and see if you can pull it off, and then you'll learn what you need to work on and what you don't have quite grasped yet, and then you can start putting together your work. If you want to be an editor, put together, like we said, rip movies and put trailers together, recut a scene, edit together a music video using just stock footage, just try to give yourself something to do. With cinematography, it's try to tell a story about a location. You don't need people, you can film things a certain way to give a feeling, and give yourself exercises to do and things to actually work with. So it's get out there and film as much as possible, and if you can't do it, then try and volunteer to help somebody else get their project off the ground and make friends with them. Yeah.
Cool.
I saw a few questions over here, particularly freelancing tips and what is day playing and how do you define industry. These are all really good questions. I'll try and answer them all really quickly because they sort of are all related in a way. Well, how do we define industry? Does it just mean professional?
What was the question?
What is it? What do you mean by industry?
Talking about the filmmaking industry.
Yeah, exactly.
Primarily.
You're talking about the film industry primarily, and
by that it's film, TV, digital stuff.
yeah. I think it's anything that has a budget and a truck. No, not necessarily.
No,
it's just that's what I would think about it if I were back in Santa Cruz or whatever.
Yeah.
Anything that is just not garage me and my friends, would consider. You could still do that and then get it distributed within the industry, but that's a different thing. Freelancing tips.
I think sorry.
This industry, I'm opening it up because I'm like, please help me define what we mean.
I think the film industry is just like the tech industry, or it's just the businesses that have sprung up to support this, and the environment that has sprung up to support just making these things and making money off of them and getting them out to people. So I would say like
the studio systems and whatnot. Is that the big part of the industry?
But I would say like making movies in your garage is part of it, because like if you make your movie and then it goes to Sundance, then I mean that's all part of it. That's all part of the environment.
Yeah, festivals are part of the industry. Industry people, like there are ways. You don't need to be a part of the industry to make a movie to get it like brought into the public eye through through whatever businesses or people, platforms, distribution that you would. That's what we mean.
Cool.
So freelancing is, and day playing, it's sort of going into business for yourself. You offer a service, you have two hands, and you have a skill, and you're taking advantage, and you're going from project to project. That is what that means. So any tips on going from project to project? Is never say no to a thing. That's always
in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning.
Unless it's. And
make yourself always available. Try not to get a job where if you can help it, where you're not, being a waiter half the time and you are turning down gigs. Then it's really tough, because once you step out into the real world, you have bills to pay. But potentially, any time you're spending doing something else is time that you could be saying yes to being on another project. So I would just say try and say yes to things and make yourself available to things.
Be ready to grind, work really, really hard.
Yeah.
I would say that's what Joey said is particularly true of like productions, but if you're an actor or a writer, then you could work a day job probably. But then you could be working 12, 14, 15-hour days to get everything done. So it's just freelance is a hard life, and just grind. And then I feel like freelance is like the steeper climb, right? It's harder in the beginning.
Yeah. But
then there's really great payoffs if you just make it through.
Yeah.
Because then you can, once you're in a really stable place, you can take time off, or you don't work for anybody.
There's a certain implication here that I want to make clear, and it's making yourself available, and then the word of mouth that you're available will get you other jobs, right? So the people that you work with, we go, oh, I know this guy, he's really good, and then so your reputation starts to spread around town or whatever like that, and then you keep getting calls. So It's an uphill climb at first. I hope that's clear. So be good at what you do, and then make it known that you are on call to be hired for anything else.
I'm gonna move on. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Spoonie Gee asked a question that I highlighted because you've been waiting a long time. If you are still in here, hopefully I find it. This isn't very interesting. Looking for a question. Is it? Okay. Well. Sorry, Spoonie Gee. If you're still here, Spoonie Gee, just ask the question again. Because I know I was keeping an eye on it. Okay. I feel like Freddie Hoffa, asks, is film school worth it? We get this question so much. Alex did a great job pointing you to a thread that is already on our forums. If one of the moderators could find it, that would be great, and post it in the chat. But we talked about that question quite a bit.
Is it possible to get started filmmaking, directing on a low budget?
Yes.
Yes. That's all we hope that you can take away from our channel, is that
everybody started somewhere.
That you don't need the fancy equipment or a lot to tell a good story. So we hope that money should not stop you from making your film.
yeah, again, like we talk about this all the time, but there's a film called Tangerine that was shot on an iPhone that went to Sundance. So, like, you guys have incredible cameras in your pocket nowadays. So a lot of the things we teach on the Film School channel are things that apply to whatever gear you're using, like lighting direction, lighting quality. Those are principles that apply to any of the equipment you're using. So absolutely, yes. I just found this question. Another Boring Life asked, on quote, small and big productions, who pays for traveling to locations, foods, beds, expenses, luggage, gas, cars, trucks, and how are the costs managed exactly? The production pays for those things usually. Like if you are, let's say, we are putting together a production here in LA and it's going to go shoot in San Francisco, part of the entire project's budget is factoring in flying any of the crew members that are in LA to San Francisco, putting them up, feeding them, and all that stuff. Like when a crew is traveling, usually all their expenses are paid, and all that is managed by producers and the production team. Like that's part of the gig, right? Is managing the budget. So you gotta stay really, really on top of it. Save those receipts.
Lauren, do you have a question?
Hopefully that answers that.
Answering one of them in the chat.
How do I go back in time and undo every mistake I ever made?
Don't do that.
No regrets.
Yeah, you've learned from those mistakes. Those are good mistakes to have lived.
Thank you, Kevin.
I hope.
Yeah.
I mean,
No regrets.
I don't know how big of mistakes they were, but
We love you, though.
yeah. Don't undo them.
Yeah.
Just don't do them again.
That's all we can ask for.
I
hope that helped.
Yeah. I got a quick one from Dan Klein.
Okay.
It's about
Editing?
Yeah,
Clips
the
and
editing
things?
reel.
Yeah, he's been asking that a long time.
Okay,
Thanks for your
so Dan
patience.
Klein, how do you choose what clips and bits to use for an editing reel? Like, what are you trying to show in it? Editing reel, it's any film reel, whether you're an acting reel or an editor or whatever, director, you want to show range, right? So it's nice to have, at least what I look for if I'm looking at an editing reel, is range from, you can cut action, you can cut like some fast-paced stuff. This might be pretty vague or not the best, but how you handle dialogue, stuff like that, just a range of things, and let scenes play, because if it's too montagey, then it starts to feel like a music video and you don't get a sense of what the project was that you were working on. So don't be afraid to let things play, and then just show 2 or 3 different styles and that you're most proud of, and then call it a day. Send it around. Good luck.
Editing reels are hard.
Yeah, they're really hard. So
Yeah,
show your range.
I will say, Freddie just gave an interview about Adobe Premiere, and the number one piece of advice he gives to people who are starting to edit is edit with a variety of footage. So don't just get super comfortable editing action sequences. Like, do a dialogue scene, do a dinner party scene, just experiment with a lot of things, so you get better at all those situations. And then show those off. For me, just watching them, I just want the whole thing to, this makes no sense, but I just want all the edits to feel good on my face. I don't want anything to be like, huh?
Screen your reel for feedback then, to see if the edits feel good on people's faces.
Super good. Joey, look at me.
Did it go the wrong way?
I don't know. Let's try.
I went this way.
Yeah, other way. 1, 2, 3. A little whirly.
Camera angles.
Speaking of reels, these days, do you really need a reel for things like cinematography? Yes!
Do it.
The thing about reels is you want them to be like 2 minutes or under, and it gives people a look at your range of work, and it makes it easy for them to see your work.
Is it on?
Did we freeze? It says offline. Okay, now we're back, I guess.
Are we live?
Nope.
Is it on?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay,
Sorry.
pause for a second.
Are we
Okay,
back?
sorry. Okay, keep talking.
Okay. The cinematography reels are a chance for you to put your best work forward and to really show what you can do as a cinematographer. Yeah, it's like it's as essential as a resume is, because it's so visual. Like you can say, "Oh, I shot all these features," but you might not be the right fit for a project because might have all this experience, but maybe your style doesn't fit, and they need to know that. They need to see your work. They need to know how you approach things, and so you might be like a really competent cinematographer, really good, but you might not be right for that actual project. You might be better for something else. Like I would get a lot of interviews about like family dramas and romantic comedies, and then they'd see my reel and they'd be like, oh, this is like a bunch of people getting punched in the face and it's really fast paced and action stuff, and they're like, you're good, but like we're looking for a different tone. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I'd fit this project. I could do it, but like you want your perfect synergy between DP and director.
Synergy!
Whoa.
Synergy, I did it! Jamie Lukacheski would be
Lukacheski.
so proud
Hey,
of
everyone
me.
be like, I'm gonna count to 3 and I'm gonna say synergy and then everyone look really surprised, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Synergy!
We're screenshotting that to Jamie.
Okay, we did it. Okay, sorry. We're gonna answer your questions. Great answer. Okay, is it my turn?
Go for it.
Freddie Hoffa asks, how do I become better at what I do? I watch many videos on shooting and directing, but I don't know if I'm improving or not. Thanks. Great question. I would say 1, do you look at your work and feel like you've improved? Like, are you accomplishing your vision in a more real way with everything you make? And so that's really just a question for you on how you define success. And then the other thing I would say is screen it for people. Screen your work and get feedback, and see what people say. And, you know, if they say like, oh, the edit could be tighter, or, you know, they have sound issues, then there's always ways to improve. Frankly, all of us, everyone at Rocket Jump, are always learning. There's no way that we make anything perfect. In fact, anytime anybody here makes something, obviously we're like, oh, I wish I had gone back and done this or that, and you know, so always be learning. There's always room to improve, and when in doubt, screen your stuff and ask for good feedback. We got the forums for that too. Critique me. There's a section in there. Mods, you're killing it. Cool. That's my. Ooh, there's a Petey. Great question. Petey's got a good question. Joe, you want to answer a question?
Oh, I saw one up here. It was, yeah. No, it was actually kind of funny, because I'm not sure what to make of it. Headbanger Extreme. What do you guys think is the biggest divide between Hollywood film shows and internet shows? For example, Breaking Bad versus Rocket Jump Film School. How can you guys improve? So,
how do we improve?
Well,
where's that?
Between what the divide is.
It was pretty high up.
Oh, okay.
Back up there.
I guess how can we improve between the divide? And I guess
It's less about what's better and more about what kind of show it is.
yeah,
I mean, like, we obviously have room to improve because
Yeah.
we're babies.
we're 3 people.
But Breaking Bad is a long form like television drama on like a network.
Mm-hmm.
And Rocket Jump the show was a documentary Hulu series.
Rocket Jump Film School.
A Rocket Jump Film School?
Yeah. So I guess the
We're
divide
a
between
YouTube channel.
the divide between Hollywood films, shows, and the internet is one is always trying to sort of get into the other. So I feel like the walls are starting to blend a little bit.
What's the
more.
question again?
What's the divide between Hollywood films, shows, and internet shows?
Internet
so-
shows.
So
mind if
I think sure. Well, my point was I feel like everyone is trying to do what the other is doing, because there are internet audiences out there that like Freddie had cultivated, and we had kickstarted our own video game high school, which I think is something that the internet is now capable of doing to then reach a certain sort of level, right? That you don't need the Hollywood. So and then Hollywood's trying to get into internet and all. So I think that there's as our generation continues on, there's going to be a bigger blurred line between because Netflix is an internet show, and look at all Netflix and Amazon and stuff like that.
It's
So
called-
the lines are blurring as we move through this internet landscape.
Honestly, from our perspective, I mean, Rocket Jump's in a really interesting place because we started out in digital and then we're trying to do what? Russell McGee?
I'm looking for my phone. I fell.
Oh my god.
Keep thinking.
You're making sounds.
I found it.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Rocket Jump started off in an interesting place. We started with digital, and now we're trying to do this bigger stuff. So it's weird. I could talk about this for way longer, like industry stuff and digital stuff. Digital's kind of like TV when it first came out, right? Like when TV first came out, people who made feature films were like, "Ooh, what is this garbaggio that is lesser?" What are you doing, Joey? Yeah, get out of the frame. So there's pushback to like new technology and new platforms, which completely makes sense. And don't shoot me in the face. And now with online content, I mean, there's so much of it. Not all of it is great. Sometimes when everyone has access to it now. So I think there is pushback to digital stuff. It's gonna shoot me in the face. Don't shoot me in the face. Okay. Anyway, I'm cool. Yes, sometimes there seems to be some pushback with digital from the media at large, but there's some people who are really realizing that a ton of you guys and us and like a lot of young folk watch stuff online now, and they have to adjust to how the model is changing, right? That's how business works. So everyone's still figuring it out. It's a little bit of a wild west. I don't know if I answered your question. It was really long. Lauren, you want to take?
Alex Lemon has been
Ricochet.
asking this for a while, so I wanted to make sure I got to his question. He says, I just finished a script and I'm going to start a pre-production meeting, but who should I have there? ADs, DP, script soup, costume, etc. It depends on what you want to get done first. I'm trying to think of what's the best way. I think your first meeting definitely should be with your producer and your AD, because you want to start breaking down the script and start looking at who you actually need to have meetings with. We have a video on script breakdowns with our friend Andrew, who is awesome. But your first meeting, I mean, you want your right-hand guy, you want your assistant director, possibly your producer, to look at your budget and start making decisions about like what is actually in the script, how many locations will we actually need, like do we need a whole costume department, do we need this, blah blah blah. And then after you get your script breakdown, you can figure out who your first big pre-production meeting, who needs to be there. And that's usually all your heads of department. So production designer needs to be there. Art director also needs to be there. Costume designer. I said wardrobe before and Lane corrected me. I think it's costume design. I don't remember. I'm sorry, Lane.
Potato, Lane. I'm sorry.
Heads of department. You want your head sound designer to be there, because he's going to start asking you questions about how you want to approach sound. You want your assistant director to be there, obviously. You want your DP there for sure. But you don't need extra people like the first assistant camera, blah blah blah. This is just heads of department. So anybody who's making creative decisions for a department needs to be there, so you can give them your answers as a director about questions in the script. So you'll sit down, you'll go through the script, look at the breakdown. People in the department will ask about the script, what they need to know, and you can figure it out and get individual breakdowns that way. Am I missing any departments? Usually editors don't need to be there for pre-production.
No.
Script soup doesn't really need to be there for pre-production. That's not a department head.
Not really, no.
Producer definitely needs to be there. But anybody who's a creative department head or has logistical questions should be there.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question.
Anyone who will need to know what's going on the day.
And then you can also have, after that big meeting, so everyone's on the same page, you can have one-on-ones. Like, I know a lot of DPs and directors like to sit down and once they kind of know the big ideas, like, let's make a shot list, let's bring the storyboard artist in, let's talk about what we want our lights and stuff to be like.
You can set up a table read for your actors and stuff like that before you get into it. Did you say that?
I don't think so. Table reads later.
You could do.
It's separate.
Yeah.
It just, and then if you're not sure about who to invite, you can also ask your creative heads. Like, I like to have my gaffer there at big production meetings and my key grip because they are heads of their own departments. The same way the art director is the head of their own department, even though they're under the production designer, because they will have questions about the budget and equipment and stuff like that I might not ask. So I could ask those questions for them and relay, but I like having my gaffer there. So I might ask for my gaffer and key grip to be there. Heads of department, basically.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
I mean, one that we just did was super helpful. Just a last thing, I just thought of this because which I didn't think would be important, but it's super important, right? Was we had the play fight guys and the makeup guys go through every script and figure out what was going to be a visual effect for post.
Oh,
and
yeah,
what
makeup.
was going to be
Makeup set that
yeah,
meeting.
and makeup set that meeting so that they can go through the script and then determine what they were responsible for. So that was a whole separate meeting.
Yeah.
So oh my god.
Yeah, makeup needs to coordinate with costume and special effects, and VFX should be at that meeting.
Yep.
Heads of
VFX.
department. We're forgetting all the departments. But like,
Found one. That was a
VFX
big meeting. That was a
supervisor.
huge day.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a big meeting, and then you have all the little meetings after that.
Yep.
I'm gonna answer PD's question because I thought it was so good.
Do it.
PD asked, "Why do you think there are so few women composers in the film industry? What can you tell a young woman who thinks about composing but sees the current state of things?"
Hello, PD.
Hi. I love that question, and I kind of feel like it's the same all across the board. There are so few women composers. Actually, we were part of this panel at WonderCon about women in film, and one of the fellow panelists was Lolita Ritmanis, who does all the music composition for like the animated
DC
Batman
yeah.
shows and DC shows. She was such a badass. I mean,
She's
like
cool.
really. And I think there are so few because they don't see a lot of women composers, so it doesn't register that is a possible career path.
How did she get in? Yeah, she had like some.
Yeah, I think she started out as a musician, and then she just, through circumstances, knew this was a thing she could do, and then she just pursued it relentlessly. I mean, she just works really, really hard.
Yeah.
And she has an organization. She's part of this organization of women composers that come together and support each other. I think it's the Alliance of Women Composers or something like that. But yeah, I mean, there are so few, I think, because like in other parts of the film industry, people just don't talk about it as much. You don't see as many women in those roles, so you just don't know that that's a possible thing. So hopefully we can change that. For a young woman who wants to do it and sees the current state of things, I would say find other women, find other guys who will support your passions, and you're gonna get through it with good people who have your back. It's gonna be really hard. It's gonna be really, really hard. But you know, keep at it if that's what you really love, and you will find a way.
Gustavo, are you still here?
That's a good name.
Tips on applying to film festivals.
Make sure okay.
Do it.
Okay,
What
thanks.
was
Sorry,
what's the thing that you just thought?
So the first thing I ever
thing.
did in the film industry is I volunteered at the Newport Beach Film Festival, and so I processed every single submission that came in. So the thing I would suggest is don't mess up the application process. Make sure you do it right.
Read the instructions. Many times.
If you don't read the instructions, people won't be able to process it, and your film won't ever get seen. So, honestly, I will say presentation kind of helps. Obviously, you don't have to go overboard. There's like a fine line between like just being professional and doing it right, and then just overkill, where you're like, this person is like, this movie's probably not very good because they're compensating.
Chill out.
My first instinct was festivals are expensive.
Yeah, budget for
Pick
it.
and choose.
So pick and choose exactly where you think your film would fit best at. Does that make sense? So don't just spend your money throwing everything at Sundance or anything that costs a lot if your film isn't the right fit for that, So you know what kind of movie you made, and then really try and seek out the vibe of where you're sending it to. And so that way you don't basically throw your money away for festivals that, save your money and then pick and choose. I
Yeah.
hope that helps, Gustavo. I hope you're still here.
I like the name.
We are
I gotta
we
go.
are winding.
Yeah,
up on our hour
we gotta
here.
wrap up pretty soon. I have. Can I answer a question?
Yes, please.
Okay. One of you jump in and let me know. Havbro Media asks, as a DP with a pretty good experience working with a producer, director, writer, etc., I tend to take control due to a bit more industry knowledge. Should I let go or keep giving advice and stuff?
That's a great question.
It is a really good question, and I think that demonstrates a lot of self-awareness, which is super key to success and your own personal growth. I think film is so collaborative, you want to set up your fellow collaborators for success. Set them up for success. So, if you giving them a bunch of advice is like making you seem too controlling or starting to destroy your relationship a little bit, then obviously, you want to pull back and see what other people can contribute. I mean, they're there for a reason. If it feels like too much of the weight is on your shoulders, then it's like sometimes you just don't have the chemistry with that crew, right? But you want to find relationships that work best for how you work, how they work, and everyone is functioning as a team, and the goal is the success of the film, right? And the success of the story you're trying to tell, and everyone working in conjunction to do that. So it's a case-by-case basis. You know better than we do, but I'd say it sounds like you letting go could help your stress a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, the thing about the DP director relationship is that the DP, you gotta trust each other, and you really are in a supportive role for the director, because the director is trusting you to come through with their vision and make it happen for them. And I've gotten frustrated with young directors before, and it's really frustrating because you really want to make this movie good, but you really do have to make sure your director feels like you have their back. If they feel like you don't trust them or don't respect them or are going to steamroll them, they're going to start shutting down, and you're going to take out more and more control, and things are just going to spiral. So usually when I find myself getting frustrated or getting a little bit too forceful, I want to step back. I want to be like, hey, can we take 5 minutes? I want to see what you need. Constantly check in. Be like, is this helping? Do you want this? Don't do this in front of people. Take them aside and be like, is this advice helping? Do you want me to ask more questions? Do you want me to back off? If I see something, do you want me to say something? Really be like, hey, I'm here for you, bud. Tell me what you need. Be the therapist. And then if it's little things that you can catch, with lighting or whatever, that's your department, take care of it. The main thing is just don't step on the actor-director relationship. Keep your butt out of there. That's all I'm saying. That's not your job. But yeah, just be open and ask your director what he needs. He or her, what she needs. Yeah.
I will say Spooniki has been asking this question for a very long time.
Answer it.
Yes.
Spooniki says, I'm starting my first short film. How do I pitch it to be picked up by a major? What's the process? Thanks. Your first short film ever, bro. Keep making stuff. How do you pitch it to be picked up by a major? That is a very hard question. You basically, you want it to be seen, right? Especially if it's your first short film. the process, there's no clear-cut path. Again, Joey mentioned film festivals. A lot of people submit to film festivals. Again, the directors of Don't Breathe and Lights Out, the 2 horror movies that came out last year, they started out by posting their short films onto YouTube, and then they went viral, and then obviously the studio saw them, and then they got they started working on feature films through the studios. Still fairly, low budget, but that's how they lily padded to bigger stuff. There's also contests. I would suggest submitting your short to contests and social media, man. Just get eyeballs on it and get feedback.
Mm-hmm.
A good story is gonna find an audience. That's at least what I like to think.
Yeah. I have one. We always get this question, and it's terrible because you can't really answer it. I can't answer it for you. The question is, which camera should I buy? And I can't tell you which
all
camera.
All
of them. The most expensive one.
The prettiest.
I eventually want to do a video on this because this is the most common question I get. I get it from aunts who are looking to buy a still camera to people who want to shoot a movie, and the only answer is, what are you going to do with it? You want to start asking yourself these questions. What kind of sensor do I need? Do I need something that's going to handle action and fast-paced and low light, or do I need something that action, fast-paced, you don't want roll and shutter, you don't want this, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you should look for something that has a global shutter. That will put you in a very high price range, but that's something to look at. You want to look at, is low light important to you? Start looking at the Sony A7S's. Is it being light and small important? Is having weight to it important? What kind of films are you going to be making? These are all questions that you need to start asking yourself and then applying to the specs of the camera. And I know it takes a little bit more know-how, but there is a lot of resources out there with, hey, if I want to shoot really colorful, bright, saturated stuff, or I want something that's a good workhorse camera, or if I want to do dark, moody stuff, you can start looking at the things in cameras that are going to make that happen for you. I know low light is a big one for people, so that's find out your make or break deal breakers.
Make or break breakers.
And don't be afraid to get something that's in your price range, even if it's not perfect, because it's better to have a camera and to be shooting than to have no camera and one day get the perfect camera. It's better to get a workhorse camera that will fit your needs and your production needs. If you don't need 4K and your computer cannot handle 4K, don't get a 4K camera. You don't need it. Theaters don't project in 4K. It's okay. It's all right.
Get that 4K. Just kidding.
Get the 8K. Get it.
We'll be at 32K soon.
It's okay to work within your budget as long as you know how to use the camera that you're using. You can make it work. So I unfortunately cannot give you a recommendation because I don't know what you're shooting, and I don't know what your movie's about, and I don't know if you plan on freelancing or renting your equipment out. That's all questions that you need to answer yourself. But basically it's what camera gets you excited and you want to try. Literally, it's okay to trust your gut. I don't believe in shaming people for the cameras that they choose. There's this weird kind of trend of oh, you're using that camera. It's yeah, I can use my iPhone. It's fine. I'm shooting a movie. What are you doing? I don't care what you're shooting on. Are you shooting something good? Are you lighting well? Don't let people be snobby. Pick the camera that makes you excited to go use it. If you are outside shooting or inside shooting, then it's a good camera. I get very angry about this. I hate camera snobs.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
I can be snobby about cameras, but in a theoretical sense, I'm never going to be snobby at someone for using a camera.
Mm-hmm.
That
How
is
dare they?
rude.
How dare they?
It's you're shooting something on that? Cool, yeah.
Should we do another round and then call it a day?
I was gonna say, let's take this last one that we just got and call it.
What's the last one?
I just saw tips for shooting on a phone. Been big.
Been big?
Oh shit!
Dude,
Stop.
too much.
Too much.
Been
Shooting
big?
on a phone. This is I can give advice for. This applies to any camera. Do tests. Test everything. How does it perform when you move your phone very fast in action? Like, does it have kind of that wobbly look? Does it capture action really well, or is it better if it's smoother? Test really bright lights. Test really low light situations, and then test situations where it's really dark and really bright, so you have high contrast, and see what your phone does. Because each phone is different, and they're going to react differently. So you're going to be lighting for your phone, and the same way you would light differently for different cameras. If your phone reacts poorly to really bright lights, like it blows out, and you don't like that, then you need to shoot in softer light, or try and shoot later in the day, or that kind of stuff.
When we shot the snake video with the phone and the red side by side, the only sort of downside the phone had was that it was sort of auto-focusing or looking for. Are there any apps on the phone that you can control your focus or your exposure? Because auto exposure tends to work
the auto
bad
exposure, sometimes I was able to control it, because on the iPhone you can hold down and on a spot and it will automatically focus and adjust exposure to that shot. Depends on what phone you have. I think Android has a similar thing, so you just want to pay attention to what your phone automatically does. Because
to me, like, that screams phone when I see it.
Yeah.
If you can lock off your exposure or your focus so that it's like, oh god, so that it's deliberate.
So that you're
it's not
doing it on
searching.
purpose.
Yeah, that sort of already ups the value or the
There's
quality.
like some camera apps. I don't know, because if there are video apps in mind, there might be that give you more control. But as long as you know the quirks of your camera / phone, you can work around them. But I would the thing about the phone is lighting for the phone and making sure you're paying attention to what it's doing. Because if you light well, but you lighting the style for a red camera, your phone's not going to pick that up. But if you light well for your phone, it's going to look pretty.
It's going to look pretty good.
It's going to look good.
That's good.
I feel good.
I will say, there's a user in here, the Stuff Tough, who's going through some hard times. It sounds like he tried hard in LA and then is now back home. To which we would say,
I spent 2 years at home. I went back after school. I lost a production PA job that was a really big deal that I gave up my apartment for to come back and shoot out of country, and I lost it. And I went back home to Denver for 2 years. And I got really involved in the local scene there, and I was dying to get back out here. It's really tough. Like it's okay to feel frustrated. It's going to be
tough.
It's really tough. But you're not alone. Like, I'm back out here doing this, but I had to spend 2 years in Colorado, shooting stuff on handycams and teaching at school and making a video yearbook and stuff like that. Hang in there.
I would also say, you can, if you just want to make stuff, you don't have to be in LA to do that.
Yeah.
And you can find something really fulfilling, in other ways that don't involve in the city, in the film industry,
all the noise.
And if you just want to create, just make stuff, man. Just find that part of it that really excites you again, and just,
If it's not fun, then what's the point?
Maybe it is fun. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we believe in you.
Yeah, you will try again.
It's hard.
You will rise from the ashes.
Like a great phoenix.
Damn it!
Dude, Ava DuVernay, my favorite director right now, she didn't pick up a camera until she was 33. And she's nominated for a bunch of Oscars.
Yeah, look at Oprah.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. We believe.
We believe.
All right,
in you.
guys. So we're gonna wrap it up. This was great, honestly. Like,
This
honestly,
was fun.
like there was a ton of you. There's so many good questions. I mean, frankly, maybe we should just do this more often. I don't know. Let us know what you guys think about it. If the format works, it's nothing flashy, but you guys had so many good questions.
And a lot of you are at like saying, how do I share my work? There's a link right over here.
Right below my face.
Yeah, oh, on that side, down there.
You're not as good. You're not good at pointing.
There's two.
It's over
places.
there.
Yeah.
There's 2 places in there. There's a show off your stuff. What's it called?
The critique.
Critique me.
There's critique me, but there's also
Show your stuff.
Show your
there's-
stuff.
There's also the show off one, where it's like I don't want criticism. I just want to show some cool stuff. What is
Yeah.
that one? It's a different.
Show
Your stuff.
us what you got.
There's several places you can put your work.
We're pointing to the forums.
Yeah.
So
the forums.
that's it's free to sign up and you could share your work. But please also go look at what other people are doing too and comment because
Sure. Yes.
it's really nice to see comments. And if you're just in there to show your work but you're not going to see what other people's, then the community
Give
doesn't
back,
Keep
man.
the circle. High five.
work. So high five the circle. So
Ow.
you guys are all really great.
Yes.
And go on there and just check it out and see what other people are up to.
Get inspired.
Yeah. Leave a comment.
Master Blaster, cut some trailers. Tag me.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so
See you in the forums.
we're gonna see you guys in the forums. We'll do this every Thursday at
Yes.
4. And then who knows what's coming up. But we'll see you in the chat. 4:00 next Thursday. All right, I'm gonna sign off. It's gonna take a second while I find the button, so this could be a little awkward. Should we screenshot?
Screenshot.
Okay, wait.
Is A.O. Shaw in there?
It's not as fun without. See the glass up.
Wait, I gotta get the glasses.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.